All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I'm One Bar with Lupagus, and in
Hi
this
there.
episode, we're talking about five big old lessons the Vikings and Vikings fans learned from that gross loss to the Tampa Bay Bucs. We are now 6-7. Yuck.
Yeah, the season's like 3/4 of the way through, but the learning never stops. With every Vikings game, we are always picking up new information, new tidbits about this squad and this season. So let's start. Let's start with the things we learned yesterday.
I learned a lot of things yesterday about myself, about this team. I Googled some things.
Really?
Yes. But yes, let's get into the nuts and bolts of this damn game. Lesson number one. I think it's officially Irv time. It is Irv Smith time at the tight end position for the Minnesota Vikings. This is the future.
Yeah, I mean, not only Irv, but also Tyler Conklin proved that he actually has a pretty damn good set of mitts on him as well. I think this
Good set of
performance
what?
from these two, mitts and tits. This performance from these two, I mean, it's not going to light the world on fire or open anybody's eyes when they look at the stats, but these guys made some clutch catches, tough catches, and they did it repeatedly in this game, which shows that the Vikings can be productive. They can move on from Kyle Rudolph if they choose to do that next year, which, you know, it's a hard thing to say because Kyle Rudolph's been such a long time, great Minnesota Viking. He's going to probably end up in the Ring of Honor one day, but you know what? It's got to come to an end sometime, and the Vikings now know, and we know that the Vikings offense can function just fine without Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, so really the lesson learned shouldn't be it's Irv time. It should be it's time to move on from Kyle time.
Sure, but, you know, Irv does give you that explosion factor that Kyle Rudolph just doesn't possess. So it is Irv.
And with Kyle Rudolph set to make like $8 million next year, I think that decision is going to be pretty damn easy, regardless of how nice of a fellow he is. Irv Smith, he's ready. He had a little shaky start to the season, but he looked pretty damn good. And Conklin, you're right.
Yeah, they both. I mean, those were some tough grabs, and they made them over and over again.
All right, next up, we're saving. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. We need a new kicker. We talk about this every damn year. Maybe not last year, but gross.
You know, and this isn't a knee-jerk reaction. I've seen that in a couple comments in some of our videos. I mean, look at what he did last week. He missed 2 extra points, a field goal, a game-winning field goal. This is a problem. Dan Bailey, whether it's mental, if it's physical, I don't know what it is, but he can't be counted on anymore. And the Vikings, they tried out, who was it, that Tyler Hooflit or something from the AAF. They have some guy in their practice squad. Why not give one of those guys a shot? Because Chase McLaughlin is now a member of the Jets. He's gone. We did not get him.
I didn't see that.
One thing we do know is that Dan Bailey cannot continue to be this team's kicker.
Yeah. I mean, if he is, he's there strictly for kickoffs. I don't see them kicking even extra points. Mike Zimmer can be stubborn when it comes to letting guys go, but he didn't have a problem getting rid of Daniel Carlson. We'll see what happens. They did try out the guy. I think it was probably just hey, here's a wake up call. We'll bring somebody in. I don't think they're going to sign the dude from that league. He had a shitty percentage anyways in that league. And the guy on the practice squad, he's a punter / kicker. I think he's just backup in case there's an emergency. So I think we're going to see more Dan Bailey, but if he has any more screw ups, he's gone.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just sit Dan Bailey this week, try the other guy. I mean, why not? You can do it this year with COVID. You can just, you know, put Bailey. I guess you'd have to release him and then get him on the practice squad. But make him inactive. Bring up the other guy. Why not? For 1 week, what difference is it going to make? You got the Bears coming to town. Very winnable game for the Vikings. This might be a week where you just try something different. Because you're not going to have a kicker. You're going to be playing it with the mindset that you don't have a kicker. So you might as well try a new guy.
All right. Third lesson learned, and I think we've alluded to this in some kind of way. Every damn lesson learned he's on here, but nobody can stop Dalvin Cook. Not even the top run defense in the league. He ran for 22 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown, and looked dominant against that beautiful defense.
Do you have his long in front of you from yesterday?
Have his what?
His long run.
No.
Because it felt to me like he was just kind of grinding. He was fighting for the yards. It was more of a grinding performance, power performance by Dalvin Cook. Still went over 100 yards against the NFL's #1 rated rush defense. Yeah, this guy's amazing. He's bouncing off tackles. He was making little moves, making something out of nothing time and time again. He's so dynamic. He can do so many things. And, you know, he made it clear that, you know, he is one of the best backs in the league. You can't say the best anymore to do what Derrick Henry's been doing the last couple of weeks, but he's right there with him neck and neck.
Oh, he's the best in the league.
he's definitely more dynamic than Derrick Henry. But what he did yesterday against the number one run, when the O-line, as bad as they've played, he's still putting up huge numbers. So Dalvin Cook, this guy can't be stopped. When you're saying 100-yard performance is slowing him down, that's saying something about the talent of this guy.
His long was 14 yards, but I think he had a couple that were pretty close to that. But we said enough on Dalvin Cook. He's beautiful. He's fantastic, worth every damn penny. Lesson number 4 is Kirk Cousins the next coming of Lamar Jackson with those legs, those fleety legs of his.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch to put him as the next Lamar Jackson, but looking what he's done the last 2 games, he has figured out that he can move around in the pocket. He can scramble if he has to. And while it's the ugliest run you'll ever see with the gross finish where he's like half diving, half falling, then just getting smacked, he can make plays with his legs. And it's shocking to say that. But teams they might need to start being aware of this a little bit, that Cousins will take off. And while it ain't pretty, it can be effective.
Yeah, he runs very upright. He refuses to slide. He kind of dives. He puts his body on the line. You love seeing that, and you hate seeing it. But Kirk Cousins, as of now, he's on pace to beat his career best when it comes to rushing yards. His career best is 179 rushing yards in 2017 with Washington. Right now, he's got 130, but he's averaging 5.4 yards a rush, and that just blows away his personal best. So Kirk Cousins, he is spry. He's a spry chicken out there.
When Gary Kubiak is calling quarterback draws, Kirk Cousins has arrived as a running threat.
Yeah. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done. Final, 5th lesson learned by the Minnesota Vikings. Dakota Dozier might actually think, I'm giving him a pass here, he might actually think he does play for the opposing team. I think he's got like 4 sacks against Kirk Cousins this year.
I watched that clip today on Twitter about 3 times where he just gets like destroyed, and then he just chases down the guy, I guess, and then he just goes and tackles Kirk Cousins. I don't know what he was thinking, what his plan was there. Very bizarre. Dakota Dozier, again, you mentioned with the kicker, the Vikings this year have this, they just don't want to give up on a guy. They hung in there with Pat Elflein forever, hung in with Drew Samia. Now they're doing the same with Dakota Dozier. He's struggling. He's bad. Try somebody else. I don't care who it is. It ain't going to hurt to put somebody else out there, because you're not going to get much worse of a performance than what you saw, because this guy doesn't even know what side of the ball he's supposed to be playing on.
Yeah, I mean, we learned long ago that he's not good, but I think we've learning that he actually thinks he's on the other team. Like I think he has a forced fumble. I think he has a couple sacks. I think he gets discombobulated, and all of a sudden he just thinks he's on defense. So I'm starting to feel bad for Dakota Dozier. Maybe we should put him on defense. He's got a sniffer for the quarterback.
He does have a sniffer for the quarterback. It's our own quarterback. He might be our leading pass rusher. We got to look at the stats.
But yeah, well, Dakota Dozier's there. He'll be there until the end of the season at least. And those are your 5 lessons learned. Vikings loss against the Bucs. Hopefully next week we have 5 very uplifting lessons learned about a big old win against the Bears.
Yeah, I was just thinking these were kind of mostly down, but there was a couple positive in there. So it wasn't all bad news that we learned yesterday. Here's something that you'll learn that I'm guessing you don't even know. Adult cats only meow to communicate with humans.